Good morning, everyone. So thank you for being here. Also, people that are not here today with us, but they are seeing us via live streaming. So a quick introduction from myself. I prefer standing up. It's my style. So I'm Luana Terrile. I'm currently partner and head of sales of Klaaryo, a scale-up dedicated to generative conversational AI for HR. And I'm currently stepping in this new role after 6 amazing years at Indeed as a sales director for the country. So, looking at the topic of our panel, Regia, can I put here? It's okay for you in this corner or not? Okay, fantastic. So I can see everyone also in the room. So, looking at the topic of our panel, when we talk about AI, about skills, often the risk is that we jump straight into framework, into strategy, into technology, but we know that this moment it's not just about processes, it's about people. It's about who we are becoming in terms of individual, in terms of organization, in terms of people leader. And we know that we are living a huge shift in our society because AI is no longer put, and sit on the horizon. AI is currently the new layer that is reshaping the way we learn, the way we communicate, the way we collaborate, how organizations take decisions, and also how organization growth. So the point is that also AI is pushing us to ask ourselves something new because AI is challenging the old assumption, as you all know. On the other side, AI is also accelerating the way we learn and also is giving us the opportunity to explore a little bit more what we are capable of. I need to move here because they told me that it's not okay in front of the screen. So this is more or less, the journey that we will share together during our 1 hour of session, we can say. So now, before jumping into, the core and the art of our session, I just would like to introduce the extraordinary voices that will share with me this moment. So, sorry if I get my paper, but I don't want to lose something. So, first of all, Mariza Antonaki, Chief People and Technology Officer at Lavipharm. Can you raise your hand? Fantastic, because we do not have any kind of backdrop, so it's better for everyone. Then, we have Sofia Campos, HR Director at Liquigas, Suzanne Bock, it's right the pronunciation, is it okay? Global Head of Talent Management at Prima Assicurazioni, Arseni Yenas Sabanes, it's okay? So People Culture Director at Uriek, then Lia Palagashvili, perfect? Fantastic. Director of the Labor Policy Project at George Mason University. And last but not least, Alessandro Rossi, Head of Transformation at Lutec. So a special mention also for Professor Monica Morero. She cannot be with us today due to health reasons, but honestly, she cared a lot about the session, so she decided to send yesterday over a video that she recorded. So I will launch the video later. So thanks, Monica. We really appreciate it. A kiss from all of us. And now, concerning, the structure of the panel today. So we will begin with a short inspirational spark by Luca Tamborino Frisari, which is the co-founder of Klaaryo. And Luca will bring philosophy, behavioral science, AI, in order, to give us the proper landscape, not just about what technology is able to do, but also what technology is able to enable. And then we will have 2 different thematic round. The first one that I've called, state of transformation. What does it mean? It means understanding a little bit all together how AI is reshaping role, organization, learning processes. And the second one, which is called what's next? How academic environment, organization, and policy can work together in order to prepare the ready future landscape. And finally, a sort of Q&A, a sort of wrap-up. So, first of all, thanks everyone for being here. We are not crowded of people because it's a small room, but honestly, feel free to ask questions at the end of a session because my conviction, my assumption is that the next generation of learning start from this kind of conversation. So don't worry, raise your hand, don't be, be brave, as I say often. And now I shut up, because I think that it's important, and I leave the floor to Luca. Thank you, Luca. Come on.
Thank you, Luana, for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about AI, and so I have like a short script. I write down something that I want to share you about AI. Today we are facing a silent but really powerful revolution, the AI revolution, of course. AI is not only redefining job roles, processes. AI is rewriting how people work, how organizations learn, how organizations evolve, but also how organizations operate in the market. For the first time, the speed of learning has become a specific capability. The real shift is not what we learn, is about how fast we can learn. So we speak a lot about digital skills, soft skills, AI literacy, and so on. The truth is that the real discontinuity against the past is about the pace on how we can learn and how fast we can learn. So the most important thing about this shift is that it's not only a technological shift, but is an organizational one, a cultural one. And AI is often seen as disruptive for jobs, but maybe I think that AI is disruptive for delay. What I mean with delay, what is delay? Just to give you some examples, delay is an answer that comes too late. Delay is a process that slows people down. Delay is also knowledge that is difficult to access. When we remove delay, when we remove this friction, we enable people to open their strengths, to empower their strengths. What I mean, we can give the possibility to people to operate with more creativity, but also with more empathy, and human strengths can really become an important thing inside the organization. So I think that an interesting question for the conversation now is going to be what could be and what should be the role of the HR inside the organization with this shift of paradigm. What we see as Klaaryo, as a Klaaryo co-founder, we work closely with organizations, with enterprises, mostly in the recruiting part for now. But what we see and what I'm convinced of is two main things. The first one is that AI is not diminishing human capabilities, but it's expanding it. And the second thing is that the skills evolution that we talk about is not just happening to us. We can shape it. We must shape it. So that's it. Thank you for the attention, and I wish you a great conversation.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you for the insight that you shared. I do not love being sit here in the middle of the panel because it means that sometimes I need to turn left, sometimes I need to turn right, but it's okay. It's okay. Boss here. Fantastic. Okay, so thank you very much, Luca. Also because I think that the new paradigm, one I love is AI plus human. This is the real change. So I was saying before that now we launched the first round of our panel today, and we said that we call it a state of transformation. So here today with me, I'm lucky, I have several leaders that face this kind of transformation on a daily basis. We are talking about leaders that live and work within organizations that are navigating, scale, technological and critical also environment, that are facing cultural changes, and AI is part of all the process. So now let's start with Mariza, which is the first one. So Mariza, generally speaking for everyone, I will ask 2 questions per speaker, conscious of time, and then we will have, the floor finally for everyone if you have any question, as I was saying before during the introduction. So, sorry, because I don't want to lose any kind, of insight that you share with me during our briefing. So, Mariza, the first question for you is the following. When defining an organizational strategy for HR, what role should HR play? And not only within HR, but beyond it.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
So, first of all, let me give you a little bit of background of what position I will be speaking to you. I'm working in... It's not. Can you check it now? Okay. So, I'm currently working in an organization in Greece, which is a pharmaceutical company that produces medicine. And we are a relatively small company of 300 people. So, to give you the background, half of the people are people working in the plant, in manufacturing, and also in the sales force. So, because that will give a little bit of context about what I'm going to say next. So, the rest of the people are working in offices, let's say, and blue-collar jobs. So, when it comes to strategy, a year ago, and I'll speak from the side of the company, what happened is that we start realizing, that the world of AI is evolving fast and that we are kind of left behind. And we started thinking what would be the strategy to set in order to start thinking and implementing AI interventions within the organization. So we started going back, and I think that's what really worked for us, and maybe that's in the paradigm for the rest, maybe even bigger scale organizations. We looked at our values. So we said that, we have 4 core values: entrepreneurship, excellence, care, and integrity. And we thought that, AI is touching upon each of these values in the real core of what they mean for us. So we said that, one of the biggest things is that people started getting exciting with AI. They started using, AI assistant on their own terms, and they started really liking it. And of course, it was difficult at some point. They couldn't get the result that they wanted out of it. But still, it was it was giving hope that, AI could be accepted and really something that we're looking for. On the other hand, there was a lot of anxiety created already because of what the people could hear on the news, what they could read. And that was about how can the organization build trust and how can the organization show care for our people in the process of their job changing, of AI having the fear that AI might at some point dismiss what they have done so far, the past, their knowledge, their experience. So, and then on the other hand, we already knew that AI could really help everybody in the organization excel in a faster way, and also more in-depth at some point way, because it could really free the person to be more creative. So entrepreneurship was coming in the way, and also on the stage, and also we let go of simple tasks, and that take a lot of time. At least in our case, administration takes a lot of time. And on the other hand, then we have time for cooperation. We have time to work on things that really matter. So then we decided that, who would run this transformation? So the question came, who would run this transformation? Who would be responsible for it? And the CEO was really eager, let's do it, let's move on. And then we said, and then HR came in the picture. And as we're sitting on the board, we said that, I said that we need to hold our horses, because this is not how, we want to move forward. We need to set a strategy. So going back to your question, what would that mean? So what we did is we said that, HR has the one to run the transformation, but with the help of IT. So this is how we built this new function, which is HR and IT together. So technology and HR are now one part of the organization. We are one team. And what does that mean? We create the input first of all, we assess the gaps, like where are we now and where do we want to go? The question came clearly, like what do we want to achieve through AI? It's not what AI can do for us because it can do many things, but it's actually what do we really need in order to incorporate into the strategy. Because as you understand, we don't have unlimited budget and we don't have unlimited resources and we don't have unlimited time. So what it came down to is that, yes, we work on gaps. We work on understanding where we are now and where we need to go. So we reformulated the strategy for the next 5 years with HR leading the process. And also we started working with people, slowly working with people, especially with the simple administration stuff and showing that, yes, admin can be done through AI and can work very well. But what would that mean for, let's say, for the administrator? So we are starting to build trust with the people. And the first thing we did was that we don't have administrators anymore in the organization. We changed the roles into associates. So what would that mean? It would mean that we need to upskill our people, the administrators now, who are associates, and we need to understand how their role would be. Part of it will be, let's say, in an easier mode done through AI support, and part of it also be more on the business side and also have more impact on the results. And this is something that we did the past 6 months, and it started working very well. Of course, we will need more time to see the results, but we saw that people started thinking that yes, AI might be part of the strategy, but the organization will also take care of the people and also give opportunities for better, more enhanced roles and also training that will come to support these efforts.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I think that looking at the information that you share with us, there's a sort of first key learning that we could highlight, because I don't know if everyone had the chance yesterday to take part into the main session before the launch of the summit, the HR Forum People and Culture. And several, insight had been shared. And we know that AI, first of all, it's a process bottom-up, not top-down. So there's a data that have been shared by the co-founder of Data Pizza that is interesting. The 90% of people within the organization are currently using AI solution instead of 40% of organization, generally speaking, at European level, that decided, to integrate tool powered by generative AI officially. So it means there's a sort of gap. Then there's another point, which is the democratization and also the contamination cross-function. So it's really important that it's something that everyone need to take into consideration. Also because the reason why we have this kind of panel today, it's that because we wanted to have a C-level coming from different industry, because AI is not touching, deeply just one kind of industry, but it's for everyone, everywhere. Okay, so I jump into the second question for you.
Yeah. One more thing, actually you raised one more thing, which has to do with confidentiality of data, which is a big thing, and also working in pharma, we have all the patents and everything. Yes, IT is really on to really defining what needs to be done in order to have secure processes in place. And the next thing that I want to say is that HR needs to push back a little bit. Yes, we need to move forward, but we also need to push back, avoid the candy shop effect of business, because there is a lot of discussion about cost efficiencies that will come through AI, workforce shrinking, and budget be allocated in other areas. I think that we really need to explain how this, what the process should be, and set a very clear direction. And at the same time, avoid, because when you see it, I mean, the candy shop effect, that you want everything. So the more they're there, the more you want. So I think that, yes, we need to push a little bit back based on what the strategy is and what the outcome we want to have, and just be really reasonable with it.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. It's a question of mindset shift. And I mean, change management means cultural change. So it's really important to have the power and controlling it. So I jump into the second question for you, which is, by you, how AI is changing the way you identify critical skills and you empower them within your organization? I know that it's a huge question, conscious of time. We should spend half a day here.
There is a lot of research, and I mean, there are so many articles that we could read about new skills and what will be developed. I think it's again, and I will keep saying it, go step by step. So yes, it will change the roles, first of all, and what we need in terms of competencies, in terms of skills, even behaviorally, things will change a lot. So yes, AI can help us to accelerate the skills, but with skills, it will also depend on the point you are now as an organization, and also on what you are aiming to achieve. So I cannot say that one size fits all at all. I think it goes by specifically the moment, the role, the person. And what I think, what is important is to understand how this can really help the organization, but it also can help the person. So it's also a personification of a skill and training. And I think AI it can help us very much in that respect. I mean, we can have personalized trainings, digital platforms that work with specific roles, specific functions, specific people, looking in the past and also looking in the aspiration of the person. In our organization, what we're doing now, we run two things at this moment. So one is that we changed, which is actually coincidence, but it was also a very nice coincidence in terms of timing. We're changing our ERP. So the people are really looking forward, because we know we need to do to upgrade a lot of the processes, and they will really be part of because AI will be entailed too much into the system, then they will be the ones who really understand and who can really share with the rest of their teams what's happening and what are the skills that they need to grow and really dive into in order to be able to utilize to the maximum what we're building now. So it was a very good occasion, and will also help the organization understand that the first basic thing is what data do we need to gather, and and in which form do we need to formulate everything in order to have the result that we're really looking forward to. And the second thing is that we were in the process of reinventing our career paths for the organization. And we took, in HR, we took the decision that we're going to hold it. I mean, we have already progressed a lot, but we're going to hold it for a while. In order for what? In order for skills of the future to be more clearly incorporated into the system. And also to define what roles how the roles will change and what opportunities will be given to the people in order to advance to advance their career with AI on their side, and also in a partnership, and not in a way that it will really, let's say, refrain from hold them back from trusting the organization and the process.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yes, progress equal back and forward. So sometime we need to take time. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now I move on the right side. So it's your time, Sofia. You don't have any kind of microphone. I think that we can move.
Hello?
Sì. Okay, Sofia. So In a sector where we can say that safety, technical expertise, excellence in operation are key factors. How AI is influencing your workforce planning and also the capability building in your company?
Big question, huh?
A big question for the big dream.
Okay, so first of all, a bit of context on Liquigas, just to share my experience, also because I'm coming from a tech company. So currently, I'm the HR director for Liquigas. We have in Italy 700 employees. We are part of SHV, which is a company with the home office in the Netherlands. And we are focused on distributing LPG. So whenever we talk about gas, security is one of the buzzwords that comes to our mind. And obviously also operation excellence. Another information that I think it's important just to understand our context is that we have 30% of our workforce as blue collars, and then the 70% are white collars. And we are everywhere in Italy. So for me, I'm not Italian. For me, it's also a way of getting to know Italy because we have offices really everywhere. We have 50 offices in cities that I've never heard before, and I'm getting to know. And it's also a cultural aspect that I really like about Liquigas. Getting back to your question, Luana, actually, as you mentioned, safety and operational excellence are part of our strategy, are really two of our main pillars. We are using artificial intelligence to support, considering obviously that we have people across Italy, really to support the way we are training people. So we are generating, for instance, training sessions with our managers on the field, because as you know, legislation is always changing. There are always new tech coming. So to train our people, instead of putting them together in a training session in a classroom and then moving people around Italy, we are really using AI to generate training courses, using obviously our managers, so not HR or external vendors, but really using our people to share the most important messages. And the good news is that our Christmas parties will be managed physically, so we won't be for that. We won't be
good
using,
news.
We won't be using AI because we think that AI, like Luca was saying, it's a very important tool. Actually, a lot of tools, but most of it's a mindset, a different mindset, and we are embedding technology in the way we are working. But at the same time, we think that it's really important to keep some events and some moments on a physical basis to stay with people, to talk to people, because sometimes we are from 9 to 6 or to 8 or whatever, connected on Teams or Zoom or whatever, and we really forget about how important it is to get connected with people, to get to know them, and Christmas is a really good opportunity to do so. Going forward, we are also using AI to predict the need that our customers have. So we are using telemetry to really understand when our clients need to get more gas compared to the situation that they have currently. And it's also useful to manage our workforce. So instead of having our drivers leaving from our depots at 8 or 8:30 and doing their own shift, we are using AI also to predict the needs from our customers and to plan our routes based on that data.
Fantastic, thank you very much. And also for the Christmas party, I would like to say that honestly, AI can't drink at your place, and probably 90% of people belonging to Comunicazione Italiana are wine lover. I raise my hand, I'm a wine lover, so it's impossible. So well done. And then, according to what you just said, Can you, just because I would like also to push a little bit the practical side of this session, can you share with us some example of the benefit coming from AI that you enjoyed leaving people at the center of this transformational process? Because as Luca said before, transformational, moment according to AI, but it's a question of human transformation.
Yes, definitely. One example that comes to my mind, and it's for me also interesting to compare my current experience with my previous one. So I will mention the hackathon. It was the first one that we managed in Liquigas. We did it this year in October in Puglia, physically. So we had these squads working on 4 ideas that came from our employees. The ideas were generated to solve some of the pain points that the customers shared with us during a survey. Okay, so we asked our customers what were the negative things that they were facing. Sorry, I will stop because there's
probably, yeah,
something.
There's one mobile phone. Okay,
but we still have time, right, Luana?
Yeah, okay. we have time. I think that it was just, it's not like a sort of bomb, implosion of the session. No.
Security is important to me, so just to make sure. Okay, we are good. So I was just saying that we asked our customers what were their main pain points, and starting from there, we got 50 ideas, something like that, and then we had 4 finalists. We went to Puglia. We organized this hackathon. The most interesting thing for me, and I was so excited about it, is that 1 year ago, I attended an hackathon in a different company, in a different city, and there were different squads, mostly made of data scientists, software engineers, and it took them 2 days to come up with a solution, like a technical solution, like a platform for our customers. This year, one hackathon, we didn't have data scientists, we didn't have software engineers. It took them 1 hour to come up with a real platform. Like, I was able to get into that platform because we have a prototype, and they come up with 4 prototypes with 4 different platforms without software engineers and without data analysts. So for me, it was really shocking from one side because I was like, oh my God, how many things can we do with AI, right? And they were so excited because they were able to do things that they didn't thought it was possible. So it was really powerful also for them. And it was actually a bridge also between generations. Sorry, okay? Usually we think that, we are humans, we have a lot of bias, but also AI has a lot of bias. We think that AI innovation is really linked to new generations, right? So they were born with mobiles and tech incorporated and all this stuff. Actually, in this hackathon, we had people coming from, I don't know, we had drivers, we had people from HR, everyone. So from every function with different ages. And it was so powerful to see how AI was able to reduce the gap between them, right? And really to collaborate and to create something together. So for me, it was really insightful and inspirational.
Thank you for sharing, Sofia. And concerning the hackathon, because we had a brief and alignment before this session all together. And there are new formats that are honestly really, really amazing. I just attending a master in Talent Garden dedicated to HR, and I was the only one that was not from HR sector, even if I work with HR people since a long time. And there's, one trend that we can call it trend of which is no coding. So now people coming from different, business unit within the organization are able to work together, upporting, and sharing their competencies, because each one of you is a center of competence. And the hackathon format, for example, is something really, really strong and powerful. So I think that also the idea that you shared during this panel can be something on which people and other professionals can make leverage on, to duplicate the same idea in their organization. Okay, thank you very much.
And just to add one thing that I forgot to mention. We worked as an HR function together with IT, like we were saying before. So I don't know if then we will become one function. It might be. For sure, we work a lot together and we co-create all these initiatives.
Yeah, fantastic. So co-creation, co-responsibility. Thank you very much, Sofia, again. Okay, now it's the time for Suzanne. So, Suzanne, before probably a quick introduction also concerning your environment. The first question that I have for you is the following: which is the main driver for the adoption of AI within your organization, and also how employees and also new hire are reacting to this approach?
Yes, thank you very much. Just checking. Yes, it works. So hello, everyone. I'm leading currently the global talent management function in Prima Insurances. It's a global company in the sense that we are now with around 1,300 employees across Italy, Spain, and the UK. We have had quite a steep growth journey because this year we celebrated a 10 years anniversary. So in 10 years from 1 to 1,300, you can imagine that has brought some challenges also in the HR space, or in the people space, I should say. In terms of context, also you can imagine that being a tech company, because it's digital insurance, we have quite a big departments of product and engineering, but also more operational departments like customer care or claims handling. And when it comes to AI, I think I'm really in line with my fellow panelists. What we see is that first and foremost, AI is not a tech project, but it's a change journey. So I suggest that a company always sees it as a transformation journey, because it can be an ERP implementation, a new way of approaching your clients. It can be implementing agile way of working, but it still remains adapting and learning and added value in a new way than before. And that means that it's not merely a tech thing or merely a HR thing. I see involvement of engineering, of business departments, of compliance, not to forget, and of the people teams. You asked me about the main drivers. I would mention 3 drivers. I love the concept that it is a bottom-up approach, because the first driver within Prima is the innovation and the experimentation by our staff. So people who get these AI tools and they start crunching, they start experimenting to use these tools. Secondly, definitely it's efficiency, because we heard it already, I think, in many other talks. This is about automating and simplifying manual tasks. And to remove them, you actually make the job interesting, right? You make the activities more interesting for our professionals. And the third one, not to forget, is risk management. Prima is insurance in the end. So we are a business in a highly regulated environment. Insurance is highly regulated. So we have to pay a lot of attention to accuracy, compliance, to make sure that we manage and we store and we work with our data in a safe. And yes, I'm still working. In a safe way. So I think these examples, from experimentation to simplifying, but also risk management, it shows that AI is not just a side project. It's really a way to make the business safer and sharper and more challenging also for people to work in. I have a few examples before I go to how people respond, because I really like to hear the examples from the other colleagues. Practical examples. So AI, we use it for campaigning online and offline. For people who are in Italy, they know that we have quite a strong, let's say, external campaigning for Prima. AI is used also for doing those campaigns online and offline. very practical. A second example is we have a big customer service department, and AI is used to create simple chatbots, also to remove, let's say, the most basic data collection that we do with clients. It's, let's say, the paperwork. Before they get in touch with a real colleague, that requires more like the empathy and the real human contact between the client and our organization. And thirdly, everyone who has ever done an insurance claim is that you need to give a lot of documentation, which is a lot of work to check documentation. Is it complete? Is there anything missing? So AI is used also to do those checks and to see if the documentation is complete. But always, of course, after that, there's the human check. So decisions are not made by AI, but the approval process is definitely accelerated with AI. So again, AI is like the aim is that it improves the service towards our clients and that the job gets more interesting, I would say. And to return to your last question about how do people respond to this, it's good to know that our average age of population is very young in Prima. We are always a bit around 30 years old, a bit above, a bit under. But you can imagine that the population is quite tech savvy. They enjoy using new tools, but as in any change and any implementation, people respond a little bit like, let's wait and see. Maybe they were not really afraid because it's very like incrementally implemented, but wait and see what brings me this. So my advice would be always start from use cases. So use cases, real cases from the job to see how can we improve your work. This is not coming top down, but this is to improve your work. And I'd like to say, don't see that AI replaces your brain, but it actually invites you to raise the level to which you use your brain. Because your brain needs to train and adapt and use AI to get better results.
Thank you very much. Before asking you the second question, is there something interesting in my opinion, is that there are companies where the reverse mentoring, approach is not needed because, as you said, for example, in Prima Assicurazioni, you have probably 80%, 90% of people that are younger than in other organizations. But when we talk about change management and when we talk about mindset shift, we also talk about communication, and the communication needs to be more and more transparent and clear. And I think that one topic that is relevant concerning, what we are discussing today about AI is also the fact that we also need to make leverage on AI, especially, for example, on conversational intelligence in order to support, our internal communication processes. And I think that is also something that we need, to pay attention on. Okay, thank you. So the second question is more related to what Mariza was saying before concerning, upskilling and reskilling processes. So how are you within your organization evolving your learning framework in order to make upskilling and reskilling processes, more accurate and also personalized? Because it's you said that it's an organization that moved from 1,000 to 30,000, right?
From 1 to 1,300.
1,300.
From zero?
Yeah, from zero to, yeah, exactly. So, it means that there's, hard stuff to do.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. And definitely agree. I think Prima, just like many other organizations, we are moving towards a more, let's say, skill-based or competency-based environment. I think we've seen it in types of conferences like HR Forum in the last 5 to 10 years that everyone talks about skills. But for us, it's definitely more than just mapping them, right? You can map skills and competencies for each job, but if you don't do anything with it, it's just there on a sheet or in a platform. So what we aim to do is really create one consistent talent journey. It's something that we're really looking into this year. And what do I mean by that is that, yes, you need to map competencies for the jobs, right? It needs to be clear that for different types of roles and different types of departments, you need a certain skill set. But we want to make a consistent journey between the moment that you are hired, you are evaluated, so you're looking at your performance, and you're growing, you're developing. And that should be one consistent journey. How you are recruited, how you are evaluated by your manager, and how you are actually growing. And that growing, that's a development inside a company, it doesn't have to be horizontal. it doesn't have to be vertical. It can also be horizontal. So given that we are in various countries and we have very different departments, growth can also be across departments, across countries, etc. So internal mobility was this year a big focus. We had some good results, but I think we can do even better next year to really emphasize this horizontal growth. And knowing that you have clarity about the competencies you need, automatically learning becomes more personalized, because it really depends on you, what skills you already have, what you don't have, and how you can then bridge those gaps, right? So it makes learning automatically personalized and tailored. It's not a one-size-fits-all, let's say. And to connect it to AI, last comment, obviously in a tech company, there's loads available for our engineers to upskill on AI. They mostly search for it themselves. We don't even sometimes have to offer it. It's part of their professional habits. And we use AI also to analyze what are the learning goals that people are setting? What is the feedback that they receive? And to almost be better in analyzing and predicting what are going to be the learning needs for the coming year and offer then a learning on it. Because we always say, we as the people and culture function, we need to create that environment, that context, but then the learning and development is owned by our employees, right? They have to start looking for it. They have to see what are the competencies that we need, and then ask for development opportunities for that and do their development within the company.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. So I'm just checking the timing. It's not okay, right, on the side. It was better there in front of us, but it's okay. We have enough time. So we have our first gentleman after women. Our focus now is more on ethic and compliance, because we have been talking, about several topics. We have Lavipharm, and then Liquigas, and then Prima Assicurazioni, and now Uriak. So the first question I'll say that I have for you is the following: our organization can ensure a transparent, ethical, and compliant use of AI when assessing and also developing critical skills within organization. So our focus remains on skills.
Okay, thank you. To put a little bit context on our company, we are a pharma company born in Barcelona more than 180 years. And we are in a very strong transformation in the last 10. We are learning to become a multinational, because 10 years ago we operate only on Spain, and now we are in more than 13 countries in Europe. And I think that we are one step behind. We are on the first steps talking about AI. We discovered very nice things. We discovered that we have key users that were not planned, and we discovered that maybe we have an expert on AI because he at home tries to find a solution for his job, and that's something that it's very nice, because you discover talent that maybe was hidden on the company. And the second thing is when I see the colleagues here that they talk about the coordination between IT and HR, we discover we are one step behind also on that situation, because we realized that IT was working on their goals, and HR has different ones, and we were working very and coordinate in a very coordinated way, and that was a very strong problem for us. For me, HR, our role is to be very strong on internal communications and training. We also discovered that we are analphabets on AI, and I need to recognize that, because when we talk about AI in our organization, sometimes the questions people is making to IT and to HR is, no, I want to use AI because I want to become a graphic designer because I need to have a new photo. Okay. Oh no, I discovered that AI can help me to summarize a meeting. Okay. But that's not AI. For me, this is the most market, in terms of marketing, it's something that maybe everyone knows about AI, but again, we are the one step behind. We are learning about our experts in the company. We are trying to expose their experiences to the company, and again, here our role as HR is to put them on a role or offer them spaces to explain how they are working, how they are learning, because this is the key. I think that we are still learning what AI can offers us as individuals and also as a company, and we are on that page. And when we put together IT and HR, in my opinion, the risk is to do things very complex. And again, we are learning what is that, the AI. And sometimes I think that HR, we tend to make complex things that should be easier. And we use words, we use terminology, we use concepts that are difficult to explain to the company, in IT more than us. And one of the challenges we have as a company is to make simple something that it's not simple to understand.
Thank you very much, Arseni. I agree with you. On the other side, I also would like to share with everybody probably some insight that is a key learning from me, because I've been working as consultant for several companies, looking at digital transformation, now AI transformation. And often it's really important to put at the center, in order to create the right synergies within the organization, a sort of training on the job model, because sometimes when you try to explain something, it's harder than giving people the opportunity to test directly. And it's important to create this kind of, cross team, because otherwise the risk is that we lose time, and time is crucial, because otherwise we lose, competitive strength on the market, and it means that the market run faster and faster. I
agree on that. And it's the reason why in our department in HR in Spain, I said, wait, to my team. I said, wait, we need to begin ourselves to understand what's that.
Absolutely. So the second question for you, it's not a problem, it's not a question, it's more I'm asking you to share a sort of suggestion with everyone. Do you have some idea concerning a risk mitigation process that could balance, the innovation power that you can bring within your organization, and also the impact, and the responsible usage that AI can, share in order to guarantee, your culture safe?
Again, we are in the pharma sector. We are managing very complex information, data. And in HR, privacy is something that is very important for to manage. And I'm trying to understand what's legal and what's not. And what's not, because sometimes in forums like this, I heard, we are using AI to do this process, and after that I go to a different forum and they explain me that this is illegal. It's not. You can do that. and we are trying to understand what we can do and what not. And sometimes we have a key user in the company that he's using a platform to do a process. Oh, fantastic! It's like something that, no, I don't know who from my colleagues were explaining the examples like this, but it's fantastic. But I'm not sure if you are using the correct platform, if you are using you're putting the data in the correct place. And for me, this is something that we need to check, we need to control, because in our company, we are growing very fast because one of our values is speed over perfection. And this is something that is, because we are facing difficulties because of that, no? Because we need to wait and to check the legal part of AI and also the processes, platforms, because there is a huge offer on the market.
You are totally right. I would think it just for joking, because before lunch I was thinking about a presentation during an event where it was written, you know what, legal implications are not easy peasy lemon squeezing process, and I completely agree. You're right. So it's a sort of brainstorming currently, but there are several. I mean, the huge reflection, and it's what Mariza said before. We need to take time and sometimes make a step back in order to prepare, the right environment. It's a sort of field. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the first round of our session comes to the end. So thank you for your contribution. And also I would like to say that for the second round, we will keep the focus on the skills. But we know that this kind of topic, it's not just belonging to organization. I mean, we need to look at an ecosystem where academia, where industry, where companies, where policy create a sort of intersection in order to create, the right environment also for the skills of the future. So, and it's what the second round of our session will handle us. So I ask you, please, to share the video that Professor Monica Morero sent it over. So thank you again, Monica, because I think that you are looking us in via live streaming. So we are fantastic. Let's go.
Dear colleagues, dear online viewer, my name is Monica Morero, and I'm a professor of digital communication and artificial intelligence at the University of Naples Federico II, at Department of Excellence in Social Sciences. I hold a PhD from the State University of New York in Communication and Internet Studies, and a further specialization in artificial intelligence at the University of Oxford Business School. I worked for many years outside Italy, and I won this Rientro Cervelli Award many years ago, and I came back. But I am proud to say that I studied at this university, so I'd like to make a special thank you today to the university for being here. And I started with Professor Fabris and many of you possibly in the room. So thank you very much again for having me here today. So I'm a senior in the field. I've been working for many years at the intersection of AI, learning, and society, and collaborating with international organizations like UNESCO, with AI literacy, advising the World Health Organization, digital transformation. And my focus is always on enhancing the learning experience for humans, so at the core of technological progress, because my current research provides insights on how to understand the scenario, what's going to be next, how can we, what is really happening with AI in our society, in different sectors, how organization, university can overcome barriers, can strategically implement change, and really take advantage of the situation. Because what we see is really that everybody knows that we have to learn artificial intelligence and do it quickly, but how we learn and how fast we need to evolve is again a challenge. So university, to go straight into what I'll be discussing today and sharing with you today, is that I think university needs to become learning ecosystem where students, staff, but together with professionals and the public sector and citizens, develop the capacity to think critically. Because the whole society must evolve. Otherwise, your consumer will not evolve, will not understand your beautiful things and beautiful technology. So all the society should be moving. And I think really that the collaboration between academia and industry is crucial because honestly, also a university have an innovators and you have to find them and consult with them because this can really help you in the scenario. And also, we also have people that are following or they are really rejecting a little bit the change. This is normal. So we've been seeing this innovation curve since the 50s. So we perfectly know what's going on. But to try to overcome this fast is the word, we need to co-create both sides to design learning experience together. We have a lot of expertise in our university, for example, also in quantum technology, rocket science, you name it. But we have to make it something that is worth for the companies, to make it executive, to make it quick, to make it now. So, because in 6 months, many people will arrive. So you have to act now. So that's my real message for today. And so what I think we should be doing, so university brings research, depth, critical thinking, ethical framework, but industry can bring speed, the real challenges, data, and use cases. We love data, so we can collaborate on that. AI learning labs can be co-designed by teams of university and researchers. So micro-credentials focus on AI literacy and responsible innovation can be another way of working together, but joint projects. University love funds. So companies, I think, can be more active in this sense to make competitive funds and to lead the change where they want to invest correctly by choosing the right profession. So what I really would like to say to you today, only a few have deep hands-on expertise. So it's normal today to feel that we don't have time to keep up, to feel overwhelmed. We perfectly know this. So we are here to help. We are still experimenting. We are in the front line. We have a lot of experience, but it's normal. But we also have to move forward. It's not a case that today I choose this background. So I would like to invite you on board of this AI accelerator. And I promise you, we will work at the forefront of this innovation, helping your organization move forward with confidence and expertise. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Monica. So I think that it was a positive message. I mean, everyone can be afraid, so we know that we have a risk that we need to take into consideration, but the mindset shift and also the contamination among organizations and within the same organization can help us to move forward in the right way, faster and faster. So now, according to also the message that Monica shared with us, Lia, I'm addressing to you with a question. What should policymakers by you prioritize in order to avoid any kind of gap in terms of skills and also opportunities looking at the next future? Because time, it's our game changer.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear? Yep.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leah Palagashvili. I'm an economist at an academic research center based out of Washington, D.C., and previously was a professor of economics at State University of New York. So my focus is on labor markets, the changing nature of work, and especially labor policy and regulations. And so what we do in my group on labor policy is we do tons of research on labor economics, labor policy, and then we send our research out to policymakers in Congress and at state levels and give them ideas for reforms and policy changes. Several of them listen to us sometimes, but most of them don't because that's policy and politics. And it's just the way that it is. But we continue doing our research, we continue educating what we found. So as an economist, I'm going to start off with your first stat of the day because we love statistics and data and looking at everything from the aggregate level. All right, 60% of workers today are in occupation that did not exist in 1940. This is based on research from a prominent economist from MIT. So what does that tell us? That people are adapting. Workers build new skill sets, they change jobs, sectors, the economy transitions, even in the face of technological change. But here's the key, and this is the challenge. our policies and institutions can either hinder or help that transition. And I'm going to give you a great example from the US of how currently it's not helping, but we've made proposals that will help the transition. So currently in the US, if you're a company and you invest in capital, AI, server, robots, anything, you can fully and easily, completely deduct that expense from your taxes. If you invest in a worker's human capital, right, training for a new job that they aren't currently in right now, or for a new role or something different than their current job, you got to navigate a maze of restrictions and regulations. It makes it very, very difficult to invest in human training because of the tax code. Okay, now you can still do it, but it's a lot of regulation saying it has to be for the current job that they're in. So if you're thinking about upskilling or reskilling, new roles, different jobs, different markets, you can invest. You can invest, but you can't deduct that training for investment. So that creates basically a bias to invest in capital, but not human capital. And so I would say the first priority for policymakers, and by the way, I did check using AI about Italian tax code as well, and there are some biases in it as well. So lots of biases on the same issue. I don't know the specifics, like my phenomenal colleague who works on my team went through the US tax code and found 6 areas where this bias exists. And so as a result, we've made kind of a policy brief solutions to Congress. We've given it to Congress already about how to change those so that you can neutralize and equalize the tax treatment between capital and human capital. So that's the first priority suggestion. And I recommend everyone, if you have one takeaway from my talk today, is to think about how that applies in your countries and ways that you can talk to other people about it. Because that's the greatest way in which we can ensure that, one of the greatest ways, I should say, that we can ensure that AI complements and augments humans and doesn't automate humans. So if we can kind of invest in that training for AI and companies can deduct it. So the second policy idea is just find other areas and ways that AI can complement humans and not automate. And I know we're coming at time, so I'll move on to my third one, which is looking at ways in public policy can reduce labor market frictions and mobility. So currently, and actually in the US is not as bad as it is in Europe, but there are a lot of labor market restrictions and mobility that make it difficult for workers to move from job to job. So as economists, we love labor market mobility, meaning that we want workers to be able to easily transition and move from job to job. There's a whole host of regulations and restrictions and policy issues that make it very difficult to do, both at the US and in Europe. And so that is another recommendation, because if you're thinking about changes and jobs in the future and dynamic labor markets, you need to be able to make it easier for workers to change jobs and sectors and roles. And I'll stop there.
Thank you very much. It's also an important aspect that probably we are not used to take often into consideration, during this kind of panel. What kind of cooperation you foresee between public and private sector in order to guarantee, a more agile, lifelong learning ecosystem, according to what you just said?
Yeah, and I think the first is that we should all have the same goal in mind, which is that we cannot freeze every single task and job that exists today. And so instead, we should have a goal of finding ways to help transition into a new economy and new dynamic jobs. And one idea in particular, according to research also from Stanford economists, is that the ways that human have a comparative advantage in human-centric skills like communication, judgment, leadership. And so those are areas in which we can think about how to create the learning pathway so it's easier that humans lean into those skill sets so they can, again, be more of a complementary role to AI. And I wanted to mention one interesting study as well that came out also from Stanford economists on this, is they did this huge study looking at generative AI and found on average 15% productivity increases on average for workers who use AI. But here's the kicker. The greatest percentage of productivity came for the workers who had the lowest skills. And so we're thinking about kind of narrowing skills gaps and all that as well. That's another way to think about using AI to help those workers who have the lowest skills. And again, that came across deployment of AI in several Fortune 500 companies where they were able to study how workers are using it and study the productivity gains that have emerged. And then I think I'll stop there. Oh, actually, one more point I'll add is try to find ways to find public and private partnerships to ease the search frictions that currently happen between search frictions and matching frictions. So that's a way of saying you have the skill set for a job, but you can't find the job that's relevant for your skill set. I have some friends in American consulting who are working with some search engine companies, helping them to make it easier for workers themselves on their profiles to identify what they're missing in terms of a job that they want and finding ways for them to help them get those skills to get those jobs. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, but we should have the same goal in mind that we can't freeze labor markets, we can't freeze tasks, we can't freeze jobs, but we can find ways to help shape through policy, through institutions, into making them better for workers. And again, the biggest one that I mentioned today that I want you to take away is right now it's easy to expense hardware. It's not easy to expense humans and human training. And I think that's an easy, low-hanging fruit solution. We've had lots of interest from, in America is very polarized right now in politics, but on this idea, we have interest from kind of the most left, the most right, and the most center. So again, because it's a low-hanging fruit, small solution that would help workers. And so I'm really excited to share that with you today. And I'll stop there.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. Italian country, so there's some probably huge difference between US and Italy. I'm not talking about European Union, I'm just talking about Italy, and also the collaboration between private and public companies, and also what we call in Italian the PNRR, the recovery plan coming from Europe. And on the table we know that the last 3 years we have been talking often about the collaboration between public and private company in order to create the right condition for and to empower. We are still talking about it, but it's okay. We need to keep the right attitude. Okay, thank you very much. Amazing. So last but not least, Alessandro, I know that we are probably in a rush, but it's okay. We take some time more. No, take your time, because I think that it's important. So back to organization, because you work in LUTEC. In order to be more practical and pragmatic also, can you share with us the way you are trying to leverage on AI in order to empower your workforce?
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much. A little bit of context about LUTEC. We are more or less 6,000 people, mostly in Italy, Spain, and Albania. And we are a digital leader. We do system integration. So AI is at the center of our strategy, let's say. And coming to the question, being at the center of our strategy means we need also to transfer this center to each of our employees, empowering them. Thinking to the question, I was thinking to split the word empowering into two words, power and employee. Because I think we need to, first of all, to find a way for each employee, for each target group, for each persona, for each user, to understand how AI can give me power. And I think here we are, we are full of use case and full of strategy that drive us along two directions. Productivity is, of course, we need to push back somehow, but we need also to measure, to have data on what does it mean and what are the benefits behind that. So productivity, I think, is very important for each individual, and sometimes dangerous, because we ask ourselves what will happen when I gain productivity, but probably this happens with many other transitions. And the other is creating value through growth, innovation, creativity. That is also another very important aspect. No? As a digital leader, we put together and we combine technological capability, strong process know-how of our customer, and method, project management, customer interface. So how these two words, productivity and creating value, can arrive to and can be created by each of these individuals. And I think that's one very important piece. So first of all, understanding the why, and secondly, why me and how I can. And therefore, each and probably not everybody at the same time, and I connect with the logic of change management, individual journey, personalized approach is why me, and then how I can do, through which skill, what I need to learn, how I continuously need to learn, and I connect with also with the concept of open innovation, because I think this learning path cannot be static, and we have to continuously have an exchange with the external environment, the ecosystem, and of course also having the tool and the data. So I think the combination of these three elements, why, skill, and solution, data and technology, are at the center. If we are able to combine these, I think empowering can be achieved. A practical example, for example, we work, of course, most of our people are developer, are consultant, are project manager. One example to try to put in practice this concept is we just launched a project management community, 400 people, on a voluntary basis. So again, not top down, and trying to discover which are the use cases, how you can contribute, which can be the tool, how you can connect outside, how you can involve the other people of the community that probably were more reluctant at the beginning. So community for me is a good example on how to transform this concept from theory to practical life and adding value.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. I think that Fabrizio is completely aligned with us when we talk about the value of the community. And it's the first time during our panel that the word productivity come up. But I think that we are all aligned on this. And also, again, yesterday during the main session where the founder of Data Pizza was sharing some data, because it's important looking at the context, and turning the data into insight. He was saying that what does it mean, more productivity? It means time efficiency. It means time unlocked in order to develop new skills. So the last question for you and the last question for our panel and our panelists. So considering your perspective as leader, what do you think that it's the main mindset shift in order, to ensure this kind of culture within organization that can guarantee, a continuous learning process in the age of AI? At Luca, but everywhere, I mean.
Two pieces. One, probably repeating what the colleague just said. I think we should move all into a change management mindset, in a transformation mindset that is not owned by one function, by one leader, but by everybody, cross-function, cross-silos. So putting together all the pieces of the puzzle. So I think that's the first ingredient, and there is no one recipe that fits for all. Then I think specifically looking at the learning piece, that is one piece of this change, additionally to all that is already in place or we should continue to put in place, like skill gap, measurement, individual plan, etc. I think AI is giving us the possibility, through the technology, to embed the learning into the daily process, so on the flow. So, and enabling to transform the concept of continuous learning from the logic of training, that somebody asked me to learn, or I should find the time to learn, to I'm not doing training, but I'm learning while I'm doing something, while I'm doing a process, and I get connected with some learning pill, with a new way to do something, a new suggestion to do something. So I think that's the real opportunity I see through AI into the continuous learning. A practical example, for example, we started from the tool, we develop for our sales force and people front end to customer, a tool to help them to make more easier proposal, to have references that are more updated in front of them. So we get them data in a certain structured way through AI. But then what we are doing now is connecting these through a continuous learning opportunity, because if I get the reply, the pre-offer already there, I need more and more somebody that is able to give context, to add value to that offer. And that's a fantastic moment where instead of telling you, oh, now I organize a 2-day session to do training on our commercial offering, you are willing to learn about the offering you need to do. You need to present in front of your customer in 1 week. And so I think that's a fantastic moment to embed and to avoid of this complicated and more bureaucratic and I would say complex process where there is always a resistance. So we need to find a way where I think AI can more naturally embed learning, not calling it learning.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. So we are at the end of our session. So let me say that it has been also for me really an inspiring session, because I'm a tech professional loving people, not a person loving technology. So it's the first point. So it's important because in this kind, we often do not have the right time, to take, sit down and try, to share our view looking at the future. So if I had, and then it's the end, really, but if I had the chance to share a sort of word cloud, which are probably the main key learnings and takeaway, that we get from our session. So we said timing, because timing is for us a game changer. Synergy within, business unit in the organization. So for example, HR with IT. So culture, it means change management, but also internal communication. And at the end, trying to approach this new era looking from the bottom, because people always make the difference. And this is, what we say and what we think and what we live every day. So thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Fabrizio, Comunicazione Italiana, for this amazing time. And let's move on with the other panel.